Hi everyone, welcome back to another video in the 0 to 100k challenge. We're trying to take a brand new KDP account starting from $0 all the way up to $100,000 in just 1 year. In this video, we're going to be looking at how we did in July. We're going to be looking at royalties as always, as well as ad spend, and then of course the overall profit. And if you do enjoy this video, then please help me to grow the channel by subscribing and also leaving a like. So we came into July after a not so productive month where we'd only published one new book, but luckily in July we were able to work a lot, which meant that we published 3 new books, which brings the total number of books on the brand new account up to 17. We're now 7 months into this 0 to 100k challenge and we've published 17 books. So that means we're approximately publishing 2.5 books per month, which is pretty good going if you ask me. And that means that by the end of the year, hopefully we'll have published around about 30 books. But all 3 of these new books that we published in July were published later on in the month, so they didn't really have enough time to make a big impact on the sales. But hopefully, as we move into August, this is going to change. So let's have a look at how many royalties these 17 books are actually able to get us. So far, the account has seen a very steady gain with each month selling more than the last month, but sadly, that is going to change in July for the first time. So in June, we sold just over $2,800. Now, royalties in July were $2,726. So it was about $150 less than June. There are 2 main reasons why I think our royalties have dropped slightly in July compared to June. And a lot of you watching this video have probably experienced the same thing. Now, the first reason is, of course, that KDP changed their printing costs on the 20th of June. For those of you who are interested in learning more about this, I have made a video detailing all of the changes that KDP made to their printing costs. But the main change that has affected us is the fact that they now charge a higher printing cost for books of a larger trim size. This means that any books that are larger than a 6x9 inch trim size, or basically larger than an A5 book, will have to pay higher printing costs and, of course, receive less royalties. And a lot of our books are A4 size, so they're 8.5 by 11 inches. So they've, of course, been affected by this. And to make up for this drop in royalties, we've increased the listing price of a lot of these books by sort of £1 or $1, depending on what marketplace is. But of course, when you increase the price of books, a few less people are going to buy it. So this has meant that these books, where we've increased the price, have received slightly fewer royalties than they did in the month before. The second reason for a drop in royalties is what I call the Q3 sales dip. So I've been publishing for nearly 4 years now, and every single year I've seen it where I make the least amount of sales in Q3, and more specifically in the months of July and August. In September, it definitely will pick up in preparation for Q4, but July and August, year in, year out, have been my worst months for sales. People simply aren't interested in buying as many books, it seems. So really don't be disheartened if your sales have dropped slightly in this period, because that is normal and it will be happening to everyone. The most extreme case I've had of this in my publishing career was actually in 2022, when in August and July I sold about $2,500 in royalties, and then in December I sold over $34,000 in royalties. So it really shows how much it can dip in these months compared to the other off months, and then it shows how much it's going to pick up in Q4 when it goes absolutely crazy. Here's the graph of the royalties over July, and as you can see, the sales were fairly consistent, with most days averaging between sort of $60 and around about $130. We did have about 6 or 7 days where we did manage to sell over $120, so that is really good. And hopefully going into August, this can start trending in an upwards direction again. Here is a breakdown of all of the different books. So, of course, as most of these books are medium content books, most of the royalties were print royalties, so they're paperback royalties. So we sold just under $2,600 as paperbacks, but we also sold $117 as ebooks, and we have no ads running at all for these ebooks. That is absolutely great. And then every month we get a couple of dollars in royalties in Kemp. So this month we've got $16. So that does mean that people are reading some pages, bringing the total up to just over $2,700 as we saw before. One thing that was a milestone for the account in this month is we've had our first book sell over $1,000 in 1 month in one of the off months, which is absolutely crazy. This is the same book that has been killing it every single month, but it's finally beaten its previous record and sold $1,022 over July, which is absolutely crazy. But we had some other books performing extremely well, and once again, these are the same ones that are performing well as the month before, with the second one selling $553 and the third one selling $431. And it is worth noting here that this third one is an A4 size book. So this is one that we've had to increase the price of just to get the same amount of royalties. And that book is still sold extremely well, which I'm really happy about. And the top 2 books are smaller books. So we've not really had to increase the price, and we're still getting a very good royalty on these 2. The rest of the books on this first page of our books are all performing extremely solidly, with a lot of them here doing over $100 or over $200, all the way down to just $21 at the bottom. Here is the second page of the books that did not quite perform as well, ranging from sort of $18 all the way down to 0. But it is worth noting that 3 of these books right at the bottom, and especially the one that sold $0, are the brand new books for the month. So of course they did not have enough days to actually start selling. And as we move into August, they are starting to sell fairly nicely. So hopefully these numbers will pick up. But I think this shows quite a big difference again between June and July's royalties, because in June, a lot of these books that are now selling sort of $20 in July were selling between $40 and $50 in June. So I think this is actually where we lost out on quite a few of our sales over July as well. And hopefully this is something that sort of corrects itself in the near future, and these books start selling more in the region of $40, $50 to $100 every single month. Here is the breakdown by marketplace of our sales over July, and these results may be slightly surprising to many of you because most of our sales were actually to the United Kingdom rather than the United States, despite the United States marketplace being way, way bigger than that of the UK's. Throughout my time as a publisher, I have made the majority of my sales to the United Kingdom, with usually over about 50% or between 50 and 55% of my overall sales being to the United Kingdom. But the difference between the UK and the US has never been this big. And the reason I think is that it's much easier to break into the UK market because a lot less people are targeting books or anything like that towards the UK compared to the US. So on a brand new account, where you have to build your brand and you have to develop yourself, it has been hard to break into the United States market, which is why I think the royalties there have been slightly lower than perhaps what they should be and compared to the UK. As you can see, also made some good sales to Canada, selling $270 there, and also some good sales to Australia, selling just over $202 there, and then just a couple of dollars in sales to some other countries like Japan, Netherlands, and India. If you are new to KDP and you have no idea where to start, then I've made a free step-by-step guide that teaches you everything you need to know to get started in KDP in 2023. If you are interested, then follow the link in the description and download the free PDF. So on to how our ads performed over the month. So in the UK, we spent £431, making just over £2,000 in sales, an ACOS of 21%. So it's an absolutely fantastic ACOS, really happy with this, and the UK ads performing really well over the course of this month. And it is no surprise that the UK, given these results, was by far the best performing marketplace with the most sales for the month. As I said earlier in the video, we have been struggling to break into the US market as much as the UK market. So for this reason, I ran a slightly more aggressive advertising strategy in the US for this month, which means that our investment was $267. We made just over $650 in sales at an ACOS of 41%. The reason for this more aggressive ad strategy and the higher ACOS means that our books are going to rank higher in the US marketplace, which should mean that the organic versions of these books rank higher as well and make more sales. So for this reason, we're going to run slightly more aggressive ad campaigns in the US for the next month or two and then drop the bids back down to what they were before. This brings us to Canada, where our books have been selling very well and our ads have been performing very well throughout the whole time. And here our money spent was 81 Canadian dollars, $483 in sales with an ACOS of 16.8%. It's an absolutely fantastic ACOS and making loads of profit with these ads. And finally on to Australia, where our ads always perform the best. And here we spent $60 in advertising at an ACOS of 10.12%. It's an absolutely fantastic ACOS, and this advertising campaigns are making so much money. So this brings us to the most important part of the monthly roundup, and that is, of course, the total profit. So as you saw earlier, the royalties were $2,726. The ad spend, including the 20% VAT, as I have to pay as a British citizen, was $1,097, which means the overall total profit was $1,628. So thanks for watching, everyone, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and I think it was still a really good month. Let me know in the comments how your sales went over July.